Hello again, everybody. I've got another doll to share with you. I was gonna talk about this one in my last video with Paloma because in a lot of ways they're kind of similar, or rather I'm having a lot of the same kind of problems with them. This is, I don't know, I don't even have a name for him. This poor guy doesn't even have a name. He is a hybrid, he's actually a hybrid between three companies. The body is a Mirodoll. It's the 1/4 40 centimeter Mirodoll. And his feet are ResinSoul. Actually, they're ResinSoul girl feet. They don't look particularly girly to me, so he's probably gonna keep them. And well, he's currently sporting mismatched hands. This is the Mirodoll hand. And I have done some boil bending on it to kind of curl it, make it look a little smaller, because they actually came very, very flat and gigantic. The hands are just way too big for the body. I don't know what Mirodoll was thinking, but I tried to curl him so that his hand overall looked shorter and that it looked more proportional, but it kind of worked, but it still looks kind of gigantic to me. And especially, I got him to pair with one of my other dolls, ResinSoul Land Damara. And the Mirodoll hands look just ridiculous next to her. So I tried, had an extra pair of ResinSoul hands laying around and tried that on him, and I think it works pretty good. I mean, it's a little girly, it is a girl hand, but I think I can just kind of file the nails down a little bit shorter and it'll look just fine. Once I get those hands in, I'm going to change his other one out too. This is just one I had laying around from somebody who had broken a hand previously and got a new pair. So anyways, yeah, he's got 3 different companies right now. Yeah, I saw the Mirodoll body and it was just deliciously muscular, and I thought I really needed to have it. But I don't like their heads, and they do have several head sculpts, but not their strong point. So then I began the very long quest to find a proper head for this guy. And that difficulty was compounded by Damara, the doll. He's supposed to be her man, you know. And she's one of ResinSoul's 2 sculpts that have a more realistic proportion, a very small head. You know, most minis wear a 6'7" or 7'8" wig, and she actually wears a 5'6". So she has a very tiny head. I mean, it doesn't look tiny, but it looks more realistic, which is why I really like her so much. But anyways, so I had to try to find a head that would fit on this body that would maybe kind of match resin-wise. I wasn't too concerned about that because I could just blush him to match. But then the hardest part was finding one that looked good next to Damara. I guess I should have grabbed her. I'll do that real quick. So here is Damara. As you can see, she's got kind of a small head, but she's got big eyes too, so a lot of the heads that I was finding that for the guy that was the right size, either they looked too childlike or the other direction, they were really mature, had really tiny eyes, which is a look I like actually, but it didn't match next to her, and I wanted them to look like they were a couple and from the same world or whatever, you know. And so yeah, it was a struggle to find something that fit him, and I did find a couple of companies that I thought were going to work out good, and had a wanted thread up in the marketplace for quite a long time. And then I ran into Lumedoll. Oh yeah, I never did introduce his head. So he is a Lumedoll Risha head. And now I'd seen some color comparisons between ResinSoul and Lumedoll before in their I think it's called like normal pink skin tone. And they looked fairly close to ResinSoul, and since I knew that the ResinSoul and Mirodoll was also pretty close, I thought that would work out pretty good. But then I found someone's review that said it didn't actually match very well, and so they recommended Lumedoll's light pink color. So I thought, okay, great, I'll go with light pink. They know what they're talking about, right? So let me show you what Lumedoll's light pink looks like. Actually, before I before I make a mess out of his wig here, let me talk about that a little. So another similarity, similarity he has with Paloma is I used the same technique for his wig. It's like impossible to find men's styles that actually look realistic, that are very short and masculine. They all tend to be poofy. Poofy and long. I mean, even the short styles are long. So yeah, I decided to make my own, and just like I did with Paloma, he's got like a plastic wig cap. Well, it's really just like saran wrap wrapped around his head, and then I started gluing, cutting off bits of Tibetan lambskin and gluing them all in place. And once I got the wig all assembled, I went back and cut it. And that's not something I really know how to do. So I spent hours trying to cut this wig into a decent style, and I don't know, it's alright. I'm pretty pleased with it. It's not perfect. I certainly wouldn't try to sell it. And it's looking kind of poofy right now. I had it styled with some gel, so it looked like it was kind of spiky bedhead kind of look. Like he was a cool guy, you know. But I guess I've been touching it too much and now it's all fuzzy. Now I'll pull his wig off and show you what the Lumedoll light pink looks like. Okay, so are you ready? This is Lumedoll's light pink. It looks awfully white to me. In fact, it looks stark paper white to me. I'm not sure if they sent me the wrong color, or is light pink really that light, and if there's another white, then I don't know, it must be blindingly white, because I mean, this matches his white t-shirt. So anyways, I didn't really want to bother with complaining or seeing if I could get a different color. I was too eager to jump in and get working on him. But I figured I could do a fine job with blushing anyways. Now, I don't know how it comes across in the video, but now in person the head does look a bit lighter than the body. Looks like maybe he was suntanning with a turtleneck on. But it actually turns out in photos it looks nearly perfect, so I'm pretty happy with that. But yeah, so I did his face up. I don't remember where the eyes are from, but they're glass flatbacks, probably an 8mm. He had, like I was talking about before, the dolls with the more mature heads tended to have tiny eyes, and it is a look that I really like, but he had to match Damara, and she certainly doesn't have tiny eyes. So I went in with my Dremel and opened his eyes up a bit. It was pretty scary. He certainly wasn't a cheap head. But I think it turned out alright. I think he looks pretty good. And he looks pretty good with Damara, I think. They make a good couple. His head is a little bit smaller, but it's less noticeable with the wig on. And otherwise I think they're matched fairly well size-wise. The Mirodoll minis are really short. He actually, especially with such a small head, was a fair bit shorter than Damara. That shouldn't matter. There's, you know, plenty of guys that are shorter than their girlfriends or whatever, but and I didn't think it would matter, but when I put them together and photographed them, something about it just didn't look right. That's actually the main reason I decided to go with the ResinSoul feet, because the Mirodoll feet, the ball was smaller, so it kind of sat up inside his leg more, and so this gave him like a whole extra centimeter of height by changing his feet out. And other than that, I just plan to kind of play with perspective. I mean, it doesn't really bother me in person, and in photos I can just work with perspective and put him, you know, slightly closer to the camera so he looks a little taller, or have him seated or whatever. I'm having pretty much the same sort of problems with him that I'm having with Paloma. He doesn't have a style, so I don't know who he is, so he doesn't have a personality. And I can't give him a style until he has a personality, so it's kind of a catch-22. I'm really not getting anywhere with him. Give him some hair back here. Yeah, I'm just not getting anywhere with him, really. At least Paloma has a name. This poor guy doesn't even have a name. Or neck muscles, apparently. But he's beautifully muscular. Gorgeous abs and chest under here. And borrowed clothes that I had laying around in a drawer, so he's got no clothes, no name, no personality. Yeah, so I don't know if he speaks to you. Help me out here. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. Bye.